Hey everybody, Brandon Heins with Heins Contracting, here to do a hail damage inspection. You're gonna follow me around. I'll show you a little bit about what goes into a hail damage inspection. And it may be hard for you to see on camera, but I can see hail damage in the pan of this gutter all the way down here. I actually had already inspected this house another time, and so I know that that hail damage wasn't there just a few months ago. But so what I'm doing is I can mark here hail damage in these photos. So I always start on the ground, looking at soft metals like downspouts, also looking at the siding, things like that. No dents here, because downspout soft metal are going to show hail damage first. Taking a look at window screens also will show hail damage first, but window screens are kind of soft, so sometimes they can have some give. Looking at this side of the house, not really seeing any damage, so maybe the storm didn't necessarily come in this way. And I'll be inspecting the gutter more once I get up on the roof. So we always start with the soft metals because soft metals are going to show first. They're going to show if there's any hail that was here, because it can be just the smallest piece of hail that can cause a dent in a downspout. So something like this is really easy to see. Now, kickouts are not necessarily this is called a kickout on a downspout. These necessarily aren't the gospel when it comes to hail damage. You can obviously see dents and dings on it, but lawnmowers can cause things like that. But hits like this are a little bit more damning, which show how big the hail actually was. And then what's really easy to see is just above to your right. So this is very, very consistent hail damage to vinyl siding, because what's happening is the hail's coming down. This is the hollow part of the siding. This is the part that's actually against the wall. So it's pretty typical to see the siding busted off the sort of the lip of the siding. It's always good just to get a nice thorough inspection, looking closely at it. So we do have another hit right here. You can see that. So we actually have, looks like 3 pieces of siding on this side of the house. And now we're getting into some small stuff here. There's a tiny ding. And this is where our chalk comes in handy. When I slide the chalk over top of that, what that looks like. Nothing huge, but just showing that there's damage here. So based on having hail damage on that side, so far not seeing other damage on the vinyl siding, we're likely seeing that the storm came in this way. If we look, that would be from the north. So pretty normal for storms. Most storms with hail are coming from the north, the west, some variation of that. The Madison storm actually came from like the southwest and then turned and then came from the northwest. Just kind of pivoted on it. So I'm looking for hail damage, baby. What I'm looking for first when I step onto a roof when I'm doing a hail damage inspection, generally I'm looking at soft metals. Those are things that jump out to me right away. As I come up, I'm looking at gutters, but things that jump out immediately, these aluminum vents over here, you can see the dents very, very easily on those. Essentially, if there's going to be hail damage on a roof and there's not damage to the box vents, it's really hard to believe. If anything, it would tell you that like the box vents are newer than what the roof is. I've seen insurance claims where just the box vents get replaced and the entire roof still looks good. When I walk around the base of the roof, I kind of get together a plan for how I'm going to actually inspect it, where the easiest way is for me to climb up on the roof. As I was climbing up here, I could tell that it was still wet. So that's one area that I'm trying to avoid. But as I climb the roof, I'm just initially kind of taking a peek at it all. And it just makes it really easy as I'm climbing up. I actually see hail damage on the roof. So the actual impacts of hail, you can definitely tell that the storm came in this way just from some of the hits that I'm seeing right here. So one thing that you got to be careful of is things called blisters, because blisters is like trapped moisture in a shingle, typically a manufacturer defect. When a roof gets really hot, and there's moisture in the tar of the asphalt, it can boil and pop, and then it actually expels all the granules to where you can see the fiberglass mat. That's telling you that that's not hail damage, where hail damage is actually where the stone drives granules into the shingle. makes that more apparent. So one thing I'll point out that is right here. So this is actually something that would likely be considered either old hail damage or potentially a blister. Haag Engineering, if I remember correctly, they say it actually has to be exposed for, I think it's 5 years, maybe 2 years, to be able to see the actual fiberglass of the shingle. What's causing that is, like, if that could have been old hail damage where the hail drove in the granules, but then through weathering and washing out and ice and that kind of thing, it kind of broke everything else loose to where you can actually see the fiberglass mat. Now, contrary to that, is right next to this is a spot that I would consider more recent hail damage, because you can actually see the granules driven into this. So you can literally see granules driven in the middle there, and where you don't see the fiberglass mat. Where over here, where I've got a little chalk on it, but right away you could see the fiberglass, the fibers there. That's typically a sign of old hail damage. Pretty obvious that something beat this up pretty bad. You can see individual dents and dings in here. Even gives you an idea of the size of the hail. The only thing is this has likely been here the life of the roof, or the life of this chimney, or somewhere along that range. It's a gas vent, so this could have taken hail damage for multiple years, but definitely a sign that there's damage on it. Now what I want to do is actually inspect this side of the roof, because as I've said, insurance companies can approve one side of a roof and not the other. So doing a quick inspection, looking down at this a little bit steeper. So there is a hail hit. You can actually feel the bounce of that, versus if I go over here, it's not really. So it actually broke the fiberglass mat underneath of it. Same with right there. I can literally feel the dimple underneath that. So starting to paint a picture that definitely hail damage here. There's another. So I don't have to go very far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 5 hits just right here. Ideally, what I'm looking for is, I'm imagining a rough 10 by 10 area, or a test square that insurance adjusters call it, and looking for hail damage all in that area. It's another right above it. Most insurance companies look for anywhere from 6 to 8 hits, which we've already accomplished in a pretty small area. There's another one. The only real question is there hail damage on that lower roof? Because we just replaced it. So we just replaced this down here not that long ago. These brown vents are a little bit thicker. So I was looking to see, almost looks like they don't chalk out very well, but I was looking to see if there's hail damage on that. Just looking to see if we see dimples up here. All right, well, what we learned today is there was definitely a hailstorm here. Homeowner knew that as well, but there's definitely damage to the house and the detached garage. After an inspection, we found hail damage to gutters, downspouts, a couple pieces of siding, and definitely to the shingle roof up behind me here. So recommended the homeowner to file a claim with their insurance. The one thing I did recommend for the homeowner to do is to find out what their deductible is, because altogether this may not be too crazy large of a claim, but to understand your policy a little bit, because if they have a large deductible in insurance, depending on the policy, if their policy only pays half of the work to be done, you may only get a small amount towards your replacement with it. So it's good to understand what your policy is before just filing a claim. I've definitely been through that before, where the homeowner only got a couple $1,000s towards a $20,000 claim, and it didn't make sense to file a claim in the first place then. So if there is a claim, then we'll meet the insurance adjuster here for the inspection, mostly just helping to make sure that the insurance adjuster identifies all the hail damage that I observed as well. The adjuster will put together the claim. I'll review that claim document with the homeowner, because it's wrote in a different language, that's for sure. Hopefully get the work done and get the house back to normal. So thanks for following around a little bit today. I'm Brandon with Heins Contracting. If you're looking for a free estimate and free inspection, please reach out. Thanks.